And we are now streaming, and we will soon be recording. But we still have about 2 minutes or so before we get going here. Patricia, when you present, will you be on screen or are you guys phoning in?
We probably won't be on screen. You'll probably just hear our voices.
Okay, thank you. That was a new little pop-up. And hi, Dave. Are you representing Parks as well?
Yes, it should be Alex Lothian and I.
Okay. So far we have Alex and yourself, I think, unless I can't see someone. Oh, that's Alex's last name. Never mind. You're both here. All right, we do have quorum, so we can get started. We can call to order at 7 p.m. We do have an addition to the agenda, would be item 4.2. Mr. Matthew Miller would like to speak to item 8.4. Otherwise, I do not believe there's any changes to the agenda. I will look for a mover, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Barlick and seconded by Councillor Wood. Are there any questions or comments on the agenda or any other additions? See none. All right, we'll call to a vote. All in favor? So moved. Sorry, I just got to move my screen around and get you guys all in the same spot. There we go. Okay, so item number 3, declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest. Do we have any this evening? And seeing none. And on to delegations, presentations, or petitions. Item 4.1 is a presentation from the Children's First Society, and we do have representatives Patricia Davison and Candice, sorry, Leighton. On the line. Leighton, on the line. I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. Okay, so good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Candice Leighton, and I'm one of the directors for the Children's First Society. With me tonight is Patricia Davison, our executive director. Before we begin, I'd like to note that we have sent our operation report for the 2020-2021 year. And if you have any questions about the report, please feel free to reach out to Patricia or our co-chairs, Mike Harlow and Lenora McLeod. Since our first update to Mayor and Council, Children's First Society had the opportunity to host one of the biggest events since the COVID-19 pandemic began. On February 13th, we hosted a Valentine's Gala in lieu of our 2020 annual gala, which is normally held in November. During this event, our guests were provided with a full service meal and had the option to participate in our silent and live auction. The event was successful and we were able to raise approximately $17,000, which will go towards our On the Land activity and our scholarship program. Children's First Society hosted an NWT-wide event, Universal Childcare, Making It Work for the NWT on May 11th and 12th. The event focused on defining what universal early learning and care might look like in the NWT. Children's First Society is also a part of a working group to form NWT Early Childhood Association, which came out of the NWT-wide event on universal childcare and making it work for the NWT. And the next, Patricia is going to speak with her executive director summary.
So, of course, all of you know Children First opened in 2015 after many years of hard work by our volunteers and community members. The center has licensed spaces for 127 children, and we have the 6 programs that we have in our building. As of May, we were staffed for 83 spots, and we have about 70 enrolled. Our staffing includes 32 people. This includes, of course, the admin staff, the program staff, the casuals, the custodians, the extra people we have cleaning during COVID, all of those wonderful people that keep our building open and safe. So currently, we have 3 employees who have been with us since the center opened in 2015. So our retention rate is a little bit stronger now that during COVID, we have quite a few people that have been here for 2 or more years. March 12th, we had the staff had a professional development day we have 2 that we hold annually. We practice going back to the basics and supporting language development. So I'm going to hand it back over to Candace, and she's going to talk a little bit about what we're doing during COVID and some of our other programs.
Okay, so the COVID update. So to ensure we are being safe during the health pandemic, we continue to stagger family drop-off and pickup. We extended our hours to accommodate staggered times, and we are now open at 7:30 and close at 5:45. We have added more disinfecting times throughout the day, and we have extra staff to complete the extra disinfecting. Next is our community outreach program. It's a huge hit within the community. Our biggest event is the Kids in the Kitchen, which allows us to provide a meal kit to families. The meal kit includes the ingredients to make a specific meal along with the instruction. I know our families had it, and it's been really great.
Yeah, and we have up to 100 plus families that participate in that each event. So it can be between 70 to just over 100 families.
Next is the scholarship program. So it began in 2019 to help us give back to the community. The program is there to help families with young children access the programs at the center who otherwise would not be able to afford current program fees. To date, we've had 5 families enrolled in our scholarship program, which provide benefits to 8 children. The scholarship programs opens when there is space available within the programs, and we have just finished accepting applications. We anticipate to do another call for applications in June. So our partnerships on the land activities. During March break, we were able to bring the children from each program out to Sarah and Freddie Jerome's camp for the day. This was thoroughly enjoyed by the children. The Gwich'in Tribal Council, the Gwich'in Language Immersion Program. We have 8 children registered who have been in the program from the start. They are responding to the commands, using words in their play, and singing and playing games in Gwich'in. The elders that have visited are excited about the progress, and the adults in the program are becoming strong language users. The Aboriginal Head Start program, the Children First Society 3-year lease agreement with AHS ends March 23rd, 2022. Sorry, March 31st, 2022. And our partnership with the AHS has grown significantly since it first began. And we now make lunch for the AHS program, where in the past they used to send the children home for lunch. So thank you for your time this evening. And just a reminder, we have a liaison position on our board of the directors that is usually filled with the town finance position. And should council be interested in filling that liaison position again, please let us know. If you have any questions or concern, you can contact Patricia or our co-chairs, Mike and Lenora.
Any questions for us?
Thank you both for the presentation. And I'm sure that once we have a director of finance in place, we'll be looking to fill that position back up. Deputy Mayor Barlock, you can go ahead.
Great, thank you. Not so much a question, just reading through the report, I just wanted to comment that there's a few things that jumped out at me, which I thought you guys should be commended for. Particularly the ability to retain all 30 staff through the challenges of the COVID isolation and programming challenges that faced. I think it's also really impressive that you guys have been supporting or encouraging people to work towards their post-secondary early childhood development. certifications. That was really happy to see that. And also, again, to see that you guys are looking to hire a developmental support worker, although I'm not sure that may have happened already. I know this report's almost 2 months old now, but yeah, I think it was great. The report was good. It had great pictures in there. And I know I've said it before, I've accessed the facility in the past with my children. I think it does an amazing job for this community. So good work. I'm glad to see everything's really coming up for the center, and hopefully the good work continues.
Thank you, Steve. Just to let you know, we did hire the developmental support, or sorry, the program developmental support person, and it is amazing. She's doing some tremendous work with the children who have some gaps in their development, and we've seen so much progress in the short time she's been here, and some really great partnerships strengthened with the rehab department and other partnerships. So yeah, it's pretty incredible position. So thanks for acknowledging that.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to go ahead, Councillor Wood?
Just very briefly, I'm traveling right now, so I don't have your report in front of me. I'm just curious, did you manage to access any of the COVID money from the federal government to offset the number of children you're lacking in the facility last year in particular?
Yeah, Clarence, great question. Yes, we got some support from the federal government and from the GNWT to help us fill some of those gaps. Our cleaning supplies budget almost doubled. It was crazy. I mean, we disinfected a lot before, but now the amount of disinfecting we're doing and the staff that it takes, the materials it takes to do that. We also were able to maintain our staff.
Yeah, I was curious.
Yeah, so yeah, we were able.
Yeah, I was curious because of the increased cost, like. Go ahead.
Is it me or is the sound going in and out?
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely is. Anyway, I was finished.
Okay. Patricia, did you have anything else to add there then?
No, I'm good. Thank you, Clarence. Great question.
All right. Any further questions from council then? Seeing none. All right. Thank you very much, Patricia and Candace, for the presentation. You are free to go if you like. And we do appreciate these regular updates. It's really great to have the information. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for the time. And we're gonna go. We're not as comfortable with video as we are face to face. So thank you, Natasha, and thank you, Council.
All right. So with that, we'll move on to item 4.2. Mr. Matthew Miller is here on video. He'd like to speak to item 8.4, which is the conditional use request before council. So Mr. Miller, you can go ahead. You have 10 minutes or less, and this will be your opportunity to speak. You won't be able to speak during the actual item later in the meeting. So please take it away.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. I don't think I'll need the 10 minutes. I spoke a lot about this the last time it was brought to Council, just back in September of 2019. It seems not that long ago that we were all meeting in person and packing the chamber, and I believe we had the majority of Carmichael Drive attend at that time, voicing the opposition to having modular homes or duplexes. And I remember the councilors at that time saying that a very similar design to what is proposed from what I saw, that it did not fit the neighborhood. And this seems to be the same situation. If any individual or organization chose to build within the zoning, then this discussion would not be happening right now, and council would not be requested to provide any additional approval to proceed with the build. In the last year, there was 2 houses, single dwellings built on the street. There was no opposition to these builds. This may be a personal opinion, but I believe Carmichael Drive right now is probably the top neighborhood for anyone looking to build a single dwelling home, and maybe in the not too distant future. There's only so many prep lots that will go around. I'm totally in favor of development and providing proper housing to residents in the town. The but in this situation is that any new construction should fit within the neighborhood. And I'm asking the council to be consistent with your decisions and vote against this request as you have done unanimously in the previous bill designs. I would take any questions. I should also say it's nothing personal against parks or back then against the RCMP. Everyone needs housing, but there are locations in town that this housing could go in that would fit within the guidelines for sure. And I'm sure those neighbors would love to have a new dwelling or a duplex put there.
Great, thank you, Mr. Miller. Were there any questions from council for Matthew while we have him on the line? Okay, thank you very much for taking the time to come and speak to council today. We do appreciate it. And we'll have further discussion in a little bit. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And we will move on then to item 6.1, the adoption of the minutes of the May 10th and 12th 2021 council meeting. May I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Salatke. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing Deputy Mayor Barlick.
Sorry, just in section 10.3, I didn't send an email, but it just says as administration twice in the sentence. One of them, the first one should be deleted. Otherwise, the sentence doesn't make sense.
All right, we will look after that. Thank you. And if there's nothing further, we'll call it to a vote. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. On to the action items list, 7.1. There have been some updates again on the list. Any questions from council at this time? Seeing none. Oh, Councillor Wainman, go ahead.
On 7.1 there, when I questioned that, on the ambulance response, it wasn't about response time. It was about, do they get orientations about locations of the lake and of the community? The response time wasn't questioned, but it was also about, do they get any orientation of the community if they're a new ambulance EMT person? Right?
I think.
I didn't see the letter you sent, so.
Yeah, our letter, I think, outlined, well, SAO Hood can speak to it, but I believe it asked about training. That does happen, but I'll let him speak to that.
Thank you, Mayor Kulikowski. That's correct. In the letter, we did ask, it is asking about the training in relation to when new people are here and where different things are. And also in the context, if they don't know where it is, then the response time could be longer. So that was kind of why there was some bit about the response time.
Okay, I didn't see the letter. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wainman. Anything further on the action items list? Seeing none. All right, we'll move on to new business. Item 8.1 is the request for road closure. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby authorizes the closure of Mackenzie Road from Berger Street to the Northern Images Building on June 5th, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in celebration of Inuvialuit Day, and grants permission for town staff to assist with setting up barricades for the road closure. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Salatke. Open to discussion. Any questions or comments from council at this time? Seeing none, we'll call to a vote. All in favor? Oh, Clarence appears to be frozen. Oh, there's a hand. All right, thank you. And on to 8.2, the Community Beautification Program Policy. Recommendation here is that Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the Community Beautification Program Policy FM022 as presented. Again, I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Barlick. Seconded by Councillor Lorraine. Again, open for discussion. Any questions or comments here? Some pretty, I think, minor tweaks were made to the policy. But if there are any questions, of course, SAO Hood is on the line. Seeing none, so I'll call to a vote. All in favor? So moved, thank you. And on to 8.3, the holiday light up and decorating contest. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the amended holiday light up and decorating contest policy FM 015 as presented. May I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Lorraine. Open for discussion, questions, comments, anything on this one? Again, I'm seeing none. We'll call to a vote. All in favor? Thank you, so moved. And on to item 8.4, which is the request for approval of conditional use. Sorry. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby approves the proposal to accommodate a duplex unit side by side on Carmichael lots 25 and 26, block 35, plan 3834. May I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Barlock and seconder. Councillor Lorraine. All right, this item is open for discussion and we do have representatives from Parks Canada here. So they are here to answer any questions that council may have. I will also acknowledge that we've received 5 written submissions as well as Mr. Miller speaking to the item earlier. Outside of that, I've received a Facebook message, but they were after the deadline. Yeah, so it's open, the floor is open. Of course, if there are any questions, we can look to SAO Hood. Kessel is also on the line, and of course, Alex and David from Parks. So take it away. Councillor Wood, go ahead.
Although I'm really in favor of development in this town, and I realize the number of lots that are available are somewhat limited. Back last year, we refused the RCMP on almost an identical request in that area, simply because it goes against the very nature of that neighborhood, which are all single-family dwellings and so on. A duplex just does not fit. So obviously, I'll be voting against this proposal. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Wood. Or any other councillors wish to speak to this item? Deputy Mayor Barlock.
Yeah, sorry, I'll be voting against the motion as well for a lot of the same reasons we talked about before. It just does not fit with the look and feel of the neighborhood. I know as a homeowner, if I was in that neighborhood, even though I'm not that far away, I'd probably share a lot of the same concerns. I think it's a highly desirable neighborhood right now for those single family dwelling units. And I think we have a lot of other places in town that could potentially better accommodate that type of development. We would like to see it happen, but just again, the location is the issue. So I'll be speaking or voting against the motion.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other councillors like to speak? Councillor Salaki.
I echo what's already been said, but I'm just curious from Alex, there are a lot of other areas already zoned for duplexes. Why did you choose this location other than some of the other areas that could have been used? Was there a specific reason or just availability?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Councillor. Indeed, we were looking for Zone 2 duplex ready sites and we couldn't find any. So this was when we were working with the town, these seemed to be the best options available to us. I do have a presentation that I could provide. It just provides a little bit of context about what this project's about, and if the council and Madam Mayor are interested, I'd be happy to share that with you.
Sure. I mean, do you mean like tonight, or is it something you'd send along? Or I guess we need to do it tonight. I mean, I guess some of the things that people are interested in is why a duplex and not two single homes, and maybe some of the reasonings behind those things, right? So if that does bring context, maybe we can see that presentation. I don't know if SAO Hood needs to give you sharing privileges or.
Yeah, I looks like my sharing ability is disabled. So if it's a short slide deck, and it will provide a little bit of the context behind why we're proposing a duplex rather than a single family dwelling. And I think it would be valuable for the councillors and yourself.
Okay, thank you. SAO Hood, can you give those privileges?
I am trying. I'm not too sure.
I've just received a message from someone saying they're in the waiting room as well. I'm not sure if it's another councillor or.
Was it Alana?
No, I've taken care of that. I've taken care of that. You might be able to try and share now.
Yeah, looks like I can.
Okay.
And let me know if you're able to see my presentation.
It's good, yeah.
Can everybody see that? Okay.
Yep.
So this is just some background context, I think, on our project and on Parks Canada. We've been in the community since 1986. And a growing member of the community and intend to be there in the long haul. We've got 6 houses currently. These were formerly public works houses. They're aging and mostly in need of replacement, actually. Further context on the Government of Canada's ambitious commitments for reducing greenhouse gases. Gas emissions, and that's really what's driving this proposal for a duplex on Carmichael, and it's part of a larger project in Parks Canada and the Government of Canada. And just for context, Parks Canada, most of our greenhouse gas emissions come from our facilities, and a big proportion of that comes from the housing. And we at Parks Canada applied for some external funding to design and then pilot a net zero emission ready house, and make sure that was specifically designed for the north. Net zero houses happen quite often in the south, but they're hard to achieve in the north. And we were lucky enough to get that funding. We started out really understanding what northern staff requirements were. We've done a lot of energy modeling on a bunch of different options, including single family units and duplexes and triplexes. What we've concluded is that the duplexes were the best combination of improved costs and better reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and then also meeting the needs of our staff. And we look, if we're able to replace two of the homes that we've got in Inuvik, we think we can save 17 tons of CO2 equivalent per year, which is a good chunk of our greenhouse gas emissions for in Inuvik. As part of this project, we have a few location options, and there are other communities that would like to take advantage of the funding that we received to put housing in their communities. Pond Inlet and Toledo are both building houses in the next year, and our team at Parks Canada in Inuvik, and I'm located in Yellowknife, we fought hard to be able to bring that investment into Inuvik. And we justified it by the fact that being one of our Inuvik's a better location than a lot of these other smaller communities, that because it's connected to by the road. It's also got an established trades and business community that could support. We own the lots currently on Carmichael Drive, and they're potentially suitable for a duplex if you guys agree. And then replacing our houses in Inuvik, which are some of our most inefficient houses that Parks Canada have. It really does make a big dent on greenhouse gas emissions. This is what a rendition of what the duplex would look like. I would say that we're early stages of the design still. We would intend to build this next summer, not this summer. It'd be in the year 2022. So if there's feedback on the design and on the exterior of the design or how it looks, I'd be open to hear that. And there's still opportunity to be flexible about that. A couple of additional notes. We received funding really for only one pilot project. So if we can't move forward in Inuvik, that will likely go to another community. Our hope, our local hope in Parks Canada and Inuvik is that we will be able to keep working towards replacing some of our other housing. But this would be the only duplex that we'd propose to build on Carmichael, and unlike the RCMP that had multiple units that they were looking at, this would be the only one that we would look to put there. And we've got a couple of other houses on Spruce Hill that are side by side that if we had another duplex on Carmichael, then we'd have capacity to start removing those two houses, and then ultimately, if we could get funding, that's where our next duplex would want to be. And I'd note that this is a special project for a very highly energy efficient home or duplex. It's not your run of the mill government housing project. It's going to be a premium home, and I certainly understand the concerns about the duplex in that neighborhood, and I certainly respect that. But I think it is also potentially not your average house there. It's going to be something that could fit in potentially. So that's all I had for context.
Great. Thank you very much. I apologize. We should have opened with your presentation, but I didn't realize there was one. So,
yeah.
But I see Councillor Salaki had her hand up. You can go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm just curious, a couple things. One, how long have you owned the lots on Carmichael?
Just a few months. Yeah.
Okay. And if this location is not available, would you consider other locations in Inuvik to put the duplexes? Or is this the only opportunity to build these houses is on this one piece of land?
If there were other lots that maybe the town could help us find and swap, that could be an option. We are starting to proceed with the design, so we'd need to make that pretty quick. And make sure that the duplex could fit on those lots appropriately. And then also with this design, orientation is very important. Orientation to the south and having all of our windows on the south and the solar panels towards the south. So those two lots are quite good from that perspective. So they would if something suitable, some suitable alternative could be found, I think we'd be open to it. But we are, yeah, we're getting tight in terms of being able to commit, and if we can't commit too soon, as we progress on the design, we're going to have to firm up on the lot, which is why we're trying to come to you now, a year ahead of when we're building, in advance there.
Thank you, Alex. Some of the questions that came up in the letters that we've received from residents had to do with stick built versus prefab and things like that. So can you give us some information on what the build looks like? Is it a prefab? And those types
No,
of things?
it wouldn't be a prefab. It will be a stick built structure on site, and it'd be a standard frame, 2x6 frame, but with quite thick walls, very thick walls, because we're getting really high energy efficiency. But other than that, it won't be modular.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from council? Councillor Wood?
Very briefly, you say you have only owned those lots for a few months now? And you were aware at that time of the decision we made regarding the RCMP duplexes in that area?
Indeed, and what we were told was that those decisions were primarily based on the fact that they had requested 8 duplexes on the road. And I may be wrong about that, but that was what we were advised.
In any event, I like the idea of net zero housing. I think that's a fantastic idea. But I also think, in light of the decision we made regarding the RCMP duplex, I'd be a bit of a hypocrite sitting here now and saying, okay, Parks Canada, you can go ahead, but we didn't want the RCMP to do it. It doesn't seem fair to me. The neighborhood itself is against this from all indications I've had. So really, there's been nothing to change my mind. I do like the idea of net zero. I hope you find another location. And I'm sure our staff and development officer in particular can probably assist you in that. So hopefully you do come up with an alternative. And like I say, I do commend you on the net zero. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. Anything further then at this time? Seeing none. All right, thank you, Alex and David, for attending. So we can call to a vote. And 1 second here. I'm just gonna, all in favor? And opposed? Sorry, Councillor Merrill, can you unmute as well?
Opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so motion has been declined. So thank you again for attending, and I'm sure that our staff will be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we can move on then to item 9.1 under the bylaws, the all-terrain vehicle bylaw. There are 2 readings to be done tonight. This was an item that we had read at a couple meetings ago and was sent back to administration for some more information. And so the changes now have been made. So first we'll have to get second reading on the table, and then we can discuss the items. So the recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby gives second reading to bylaw 2669 TR21, the all-terrain vehicles bylaw. May I have a mover, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Barlock and seconded by Councillor Wood, I think I saw there. So any conversation, discussion arising from the changes? I know the only real change I see from last time is 6.4, adding in that the motor assisted cycles are exempt from registration and licensing requirements of sections 5.1 through 5.7. I know I'm putting you on the spot, Councillor Wainman, but I know that you were very concerned that that section be very clear. Do you feel that that suffices to clarify what your concerns were?
Yes, and the only thing I don't read or see is does that still exclude Main Street for these for electric assist? I didn't see that.
I'll have to ask SEO.
Because ATVs are not allowed on Main Street down the main corridor, right?
Right, but they are ATVs, and in the definition, even of the ATV, it does say that these are not ATVs, so they would be allowed on Main Street.
Okay, I'm just making sure that's in there. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions from council then? Seeing none, so we can call second reading to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, and then we got to do third reading. All right, so motion that's Inuvik Town Council hereby gives third and final reading to bylaw 2669 TR21, the all-terrain vehicles bylaw. May I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Loreen, seconded by Councillor Wainman. Any other discussion at this time? Seeing none, we'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved. Thank you. On to item 10.1, the department head reports. 10.1, the financial report. Cheat sheet. And motion is that Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the financial report as presented. May I have a mover, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Barlock and seconded by Councillor Loreen. Questions or comments on the report? Sorry, you guys moved all around on my screen again. All right, we can call to a vote then. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved. Thank you. All right, on to our information items. Tonight we just have the strategic priorities chart, which we need to do a little bit of work on here at some point. So please get back to me with dates that work for you guys or suggestions, things like that. On to council concerns. Do we have any this evening to bring forward? I'm seeing no hands. All right. We do have in camera tonight, so I will look for a motion to move in camera, please. Moved by Councillor Wainman, seconded by Councillor Salatki. And all in favor? Thank you.
Yes.
So we'll just give a few seconds for the line to clear, to stop recording and to leave YouTube. Thank you, everyone.